Hi, everyone. It's Shannon Port, and I welcome you to the Art of the Feminine video podcast. It's a video podcast. I'll forever think of this as a podcast because when I first started in 2012, we were on iTunes for years. And so I've slowly been trying to consistently move and be on this YouTube platform, and I'm really enjoying it. So, welcome. Um, Today, this video is going to be about the Libra full moon. It's a the Libra full blue moon on March 31st, 2018. And the title um, of this video, the theme for it is Cosmic Justice of the Goddess. And I worked with this energy last year as well. I think first of all, I find it so exciting and inspiring, and it goes very, very well with Libra. And and so we're going to go into it some more. Cosmic Justice of the Goddess. It really, really accesses the archetypal energies of the divine feminine and the divine masculine and how this works. And so I have a couple updates for Art of the Feminine. I haven't talked about Art of the Feminine in a while. And Art of the Feminine is the platform where I work and where I teach courses and where I do mentoring and where all of the work that I share on this platform is all birthed and developed and has grown over about 2 decades at Art of the Feminine. So I just want to do a couple updates. It's March right now. I think it's March 27th or March 28th while I'm doing this video. April 2018, I start another 3-month round of my mentoring program, and it's the Divine Feminine Wisdom Teachings. And so it's the whole body of work. It's a coaching platform where we spend 3 months together. It's private, it's one on one. We do 10 individual sessions and we cover all of it. And so it's so deep and it's so powerful. It's the wisdom of the esoteric teachings, the alchemy, all the archetypal wisdom, some of the inner mysteries as well, if you're wanting to go in that deep. Um, and it's applied to your life. So it's applied in a really practical way to you, to your relationships, it's very organic. Wherever you want to go, it's going to open that up. And it's catered to you specifically, your interests. So when you look at everything I teach and what I do and this body of work, you get to kind of pick it out as well. So that starts in April. And the other thing is that in May 2018, May 9th, I believe. I haven't announced this yet, but I am bringing the Inner Mystery School of Divine Love. And that is, it's a course, but it's really not a course. It's actually probably the most profound work that I work with. And I won't even say teach because it's it's creating a space is what we do. We create a space that lasts 7 weeks, and it's the inner mysteries of the divine feminine, and we tap into the lineage of the planet, and it's so relevant to what's happening right now on planet Earth. So relevant. In fact, they started in 2015, and this will be the third time. So it's the third. It's the Empress. We're on number 3. So please look me up. I'll put a link below, but contact me if you'd like more info and join. I'd love to have you join me. So, all right, we are going to look at Cosmic Justice of the Goddess. So what we do here, this is we use the astrological platform. We use the dance of the planetary energies in the sky to inspire. It's for inspiration to awaken those energies within us and to understand what they're telling us right now. It's the feminine language of the universe, and it's the celestial realms, and one day those realms will fade away. And on another level, those realms are also part of the archons, and so they show us our shadow as well as our light. They love to show us our shadows. And so when we're looking at astrology, when we see stuff going on, it's a lot of times it's helping us because it's moving energy within us. And so I have some pretty strong messages coming through today. First of all, happy spring, happy fall for everyone. We just had the equinox, really potent time of year. Um, we're going to talk about Vesta, Venus, and Chiron. That's our highlighted archetypal energy of the divine feminine. Um, so what I'll do is I'm going to look at the correspondences. If you've watched these before, you know we look at the correspondences for the archetype. We're going to look at Libra very seriously. Some Aries, the cardinal signs are big right now with the T square, but we're going to really look at Libra because that's where the cosmic justice of the goddess is happening, even though she's being assisted in many other places. And then I will, after that, oh, it's good to see so many people joined. All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me this evening. I rarely do these at night, so it's a totally different time. And then we'll look at the aspects. We'll look at the transits. We'll look at what's happening. We'll look at the squares, the trines, the T square. We'll look at all of that. And then I hope to just continue on with. Oh, I came up with a couple practices to do to just sort of spread this new energy on the planet, and I'll do that at the end. So, all right. A lot of you, and I know I've experienced it too a lot recently. There's so much energy. Things are really sped up. Time is moving very, very fast right now. We are accelerated. And so every day, your brain can be just like, "Phew." The light is coming in and things are moving fast. And so there's a little bit of a gasp in trying to remember things, in feeling, because feeling requires depth, which is very important. We're going to talk about Venus is the ruler of the full moon, and so we're going to talk a lot about Venus and depth and feeling. But people are tired. People are feeling assaulted with energy, and a lot of people who are in doing deep spiritual work are feeling and doing work to get to get certain truths out, of feeling very attacked and assaulted by some of the energy. We're going to talk about that and how to face that, not only how to face that, but how to neutralize that and how to persevere and know that we carry the cosmic justice of the goddess in our heart. We have it. Nobody can take that away from us. Nobody. There's the word sovereignty is very big right now. And so it's true. We're sovereign. Yes, it's true. Somebody said yes. Time is going by. Weeks are passing in seconds. It's so true. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. I was just thinking, I feel like I just did this video last year and it was like that. It was like that. And my son says it too. He feels it too, and he's not even that old. Um, all right. So, okay, so here we go. So I would just want to say take care of yourself. Um, we go deep. We're looking at astrology not to tell the future, not to see if tomorrow's going to be good or not good or this or with some of that will naturally, hopefully, be inspired by you, but it's really to open the inner portal and to have an idea how we can love each other, how we can unify during this time. Cosmic justice of the goddess is unity. And really, that's what Libra is about. So here we go. We'll look at some of the correspondences. So the first thing that I kept hearing and that I'm working with right now is what I keep hearing when I tune in, and what I had to do to make it through my own blocks of energy right now, because the energy is so intense, and the fatigue and the mind scramble sometimes, but was to know that we are in the greatest polarity wars, I mean, that we've ever experienced. It's a global polarity war. We always have polarity in 3D, and we've had, going back to other times, ancient civilizations, there's been polarity wars, but the polarity war is on, and it's the polarity war that drains our energy. When we need to know how to work with polarity, but how not to be used by polarity. And so, um, every system run by the dark depends on our polarity. The dark can only use polarity. The dark can't unify. So it has a lot of fear, and it has to watch a war constantly. It loves a war. Like, let's say the dark forces, the dark, dark people, dark forces, however you want to think about it. The shadow, the dark loves polarity, and that's why it works with great fear. It's what uses the ego. tremendously. The poor ego gets, like, completely exploited and used. But it doesn't matter if we're on the side of good or bad. If we, we always think that we choose the side that's righteous and good, or we wouldn't choose it. We always choose the side that we feel is right. But as long as we are in the war, we can be used. And that is something really big I want to slow down and say. If we are participating vibrationally on a certain level and feeding our emotional energy into this war, we can be used and we can be attacked because we're playing by the rules of war. All is fair in love and war. I just my son had me read The Art of War. I read The Art of War. When was it? It was last year. I remember it was over Thanksgiving. I read The Art of War. It's a great book. And I'm a natural warrior. I'm not an Aries, but I'm a natural warrior. I love strategy. Love it. I love to fight. I've had a few people in my life tell me I should have been I don't know if I should say this, but I should have been a politician or a mediator, or a litigator. I chose the wrong profession. Not true. But I have a strong energy in my chart for debate and strategy. So I get it, and I love to strategize. I love to figure things out. Love have a quick mind for information, for sorting, and for seeing the big picture. However, loved to play sports when I was growing up, but, war is war, and all is fair in love and war, and we can play at it for a while, we can be smart, we can be strategic, but if we're in the war, we can get, um our energy can really be drained, and so there is a better way to access truth and to live the truth, and we love, in creation, we actually love to win, and we love to rise up. It's part of, in the esoteric teachings, it's the first stage of ascension. Before we can ascend, we have to learn how to fight for what we want. Before we can actually do a spiritual ascension, the esoteric inner ascension, we have to learn how to have power in the world. And that's why these archetypes are so important, because we have Aries opposite Libra. Aries is the warrior, Libra is beauty, balance, equilibrium, harmony, relationships, and the whole. So it shows us these two things work together. But we have to learn how to fight. We have to have a good third chakra, and we have to have a brave heart, and we have to have courage, and we have to be able to use our throat. We have to be able to speak. But the one of the mysteries is that as we get more and more powerful in that, eventually, just the cruelty of it all, eventually it's stripped away from us. That kind of mentality, eventually we build it up so that one day we can lose it, because the true avatar consciousness is beyond that, but it has to learn it first, and so it's important to learn it. However, the way we're using, why cosmic justice is so important is because cosmic justice is light, and it's not the light of polarity, it's the light of the sacred fire. It's the true light. And so, oh, yeah. Oh, I know. I can't stand the war games we're in. Now and then I feel, somebody said I can't stand war games. It's so true. Every now and then I feel pulled in, but interestingly enough, my, part of my work in this lifetime is to fight on a different level. And so sometimes I just want to go out there swinging, because I've been aware of certain things my whole life and lived through certain things my whole life, and always been kind of one of those that could see it and nobody else could see it. But in this work I'm doing now, it's a different level, and that we need people on both, but it's a different level of working with the truth. And so light is wisdom. It's the goddess Sophia. This is the light we're talking about, the Sophianic light. And light equals wisdom. Not to mean dark is not wisdom, but remember, we're going beyond polarity now. Everything comes into the light, where the light is both the dark and the light. That is the consciousness of ascension right now, and that is what is really it's affecting our minds, it's affecting our nervous systems, it's affecting our sexuality, it's affecting our relationships, our lives. Things are changing, and every single tradition across the board talks about this light that comes at a certain point in our cycle. It's very much connected to the sun, very much about the activity that we're experiencing right now with the sun, but it's the light of wisdom. Some you could call it the fire water or the sunlight fluid. It's ether. It's the fire. It's the alchemical water and fire. We're dealing with that now, and so if that interests you, you take it in. If not, you don't have to totally know that or understand that to understand what we're going to talk about. The world is designed for polarity. So remember, Libra is about balance, relationships, and harmony, which create depth. Polarity is actually, I did the archetype. It's a 29, it's a 27, it's a 9, it's war, it's Mars. Polarity equals war. So polarity is war. Mother Sophia, yes. So it's so good to see so many people live. I'm just eventually I hope to have lots of people on if I when I announce them this ahead of time. But it's nice to see you here. So the world is designed for polarity, politics, war. It's war. It's pure war. You know, um, I follow a lot of the truth movement myself, always have. And I get into it too when I see things being exposed and people doing really good work and things coming out. There's all kinds of things being exposed right now. That's just part of the times we're in. However, um, the politics are designed for war. It's we have what somebody calls it the two-party tyranny. It's war. It's the red and the blue. This I'm talking about in the US and most places. It doesn't matter which side you're on. You're going to have to take place in a war. At a certain point somebody will win, at a certain point the other person will win, and it will go back and forth and back and forth. It always has and it always will. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't have our views and our opinions and see the discord and the corruption, which are basically that's where the unity happens. That there's corruption everywhere. It doesn't matter what side. Corruption is the one place that we can all agree there's unity because it's gotten to the point where it's everywhere. But we need to find if we want to hold the love energy that we came to hold, we have to outsmart this ridiculous war. We have to outsmart it. And that is my message. And it's my message now and from this day forward that I will not take part in the ridiculousness of war because because it, for one reason because the mentality of it was designed as a matrix that keeps us from looking inward and knowing our real power is so much greater than we can ever have when we're in polarity. So that's part of the message. The war will always have a winner and loser. Oh yes, we feed the war with our emotions just like when we're at a sporting event, which is they're great, but um luckily, we have things that we can humans love battles. That's why we love, to watch sports. We love it, but we have to know when to step back and be wise and when to understand that enough is enough. Um, so we have to what's happening is our emotional energy is feeding the war, and this is where we look at social media, we look at memes, we look at all those little hundreds of short videos that you see in 5 minutes when you go through your news feed. Just know it's important. And I kind of somebody was commenting. I did some writing about nature on my Facebook page on Art of the Feminine, and somebody was saying, "Well, technology is great. Of course, technology is great, and it helps us to connect with." I wouldn't know. I know thousands of people around the world that I would never have met had it not been for technology. But I see it's kind of dark in here. We we need to understand that everything is weaponized. It just is. Everything that affects our psychology and our emotional body, forget about it. More research goes into understanding how one meme affects an entire population than you can even believe. So just and have fun with it, look at it, laugh, do your thing, but just know sometimes we really have to step back and realize how it's just like a net. It captures us. It captures our emotional energy, and then we get into it and it feels good. We get those hits, those what's it called that goes up? The serotonin. We get those hits like in those feel good vibes when we feel like we got something really funny or we're on the right side, or even the tragedies. Those are used. They're used. It's important that we communicate, but we have to realize we just have to have wisdom. It will mean something different for everybody. So I'm not here to say don't do this, don't do that at all, but just step back. And as we get more into the Libra thing, we'll see exactly what that means because everything has become a net to harness our soul energy. Everything that all of this technology, we're going to get through to, we're going to make it to the other side. We're going to make it to the other side. I mean, I have a son that was born and raised in this new generation. He's a Gen Z, I think it's called Generation Z. He's been raised in it, and I can see the difference. He's a smart kid, smart kid. But I can see the difference in thinking patterns and attention span in all of it, in that age range. So we just need to use wisdom. All right. Yeah, take a step back. Oh, even and I wanna say this, even there's with all the we're all a lot of people are anticipating many revelations, many truths being revealed, being told, things about, ETs, things about other civilizations, things about other planets, things about space travel, things about, that we're not alone and that there's a huge and growing movement, which is wonderful. I mean, I personally have always kind of tuned into all of that, but it's growing and growing and growing. One thing I want to say that's coming in very clearly about that is I saw this is so funny, but I saw DT make a speech about it recently and I was like, "Oh my god, it's like same old thing." That everything when we expand w- um it's almost like we don't need more right now. If we think more is going to heal us or new dimensions or planets are going to heal us, we might just be interested in it, but realize we have everything we need right now. There's some battles going on, but there's a way to outsmart that. And once we get, the good old boys in there wanting to like buy everything up and make everything the same as we've got going, the same problems extended and perpetuated into the future. We don't want that. So we just have to we have to listen. We have to listen and be really careful. So here we go. I need to get into the astrology. Whew, this goes fast. All right. So correspondence is Libra, Libra, key 11, justice, heart of the archetypes. If you know, I teach the archetype. I have a course I teach on the archetypes. It's the heart of the archetypes, justice. And some people use justice as key 8, but I really believe the correspondences are really matched to key 11 and Libra. And the number 11 is the 1 and the 1. The 11 represents gender, it represents polarity, it represents balance and the perfect mirror. It represents the mirror of one pole looking into the other pole and seeing it equally. So there we have masculine and feminine polarity on earth. It's very important in physical world and even to in ascension we need to have well developed poles to understand how some of these things work. It doesn't mean that everybody has to be a man or a woman. It doesn't mean that. But however, there's some messing with that kind of programming happening right now that we'll get into. We always touch on that a little bit. So it's 11. It's the Hebrew letter lamed, and lamed means to teach and to learn. Lamed, and it's the letter of the archetype Libra, and it shows that we learn what we teach and we teach what we learn, and they're very interconnected. And so it's important to always understand and be aware. Libra is also awareness because it's balance. And the only portal into the strategy that I'm going to be talking about now today is um yeah, yeah, um good point. So is that balance lets us go in, and once we go in, we're out of polarity. Relationships take us in. The reason relationships take us in is because anything that creates depth inside us shoo, lets us go in. Real relationships, real is an archetype for 11. I did the archetype for real relationships, relationships where there's commitment, where there's loyalty, where there's depth, real friendship, real love, real commitment to a community, real family life, real understanding. That once we have that, we go deep. A person who goes deep and gets to taste the fruit of that is a threat because um, depth creates vision and it creates perception. This culture we're in, if you look at, like, when you look at what's trending on YouTube, crazy stuff. It's so, we need comedy, we need lightness, but it's really dark in here. I'm sorry, I never do these at night. It's so shallow. There's so much shallow comedy, shallow, lusty this, everything's lust and shallowness, and it appeals to such a shallow level. And I know there's good stuff out there too, but even television has gotten so, the quality of the communication and what's the art in terms of Libra is art, it's beauty, it's balance, and it's depth. What passes for entertainment and art these days is just it's going down a very slippery slope, and so I know there's some good things out there too. What surprises me is a lot of, even some of the actresses that I've, as an actor, that I always really appreciated, are choosing to do things, and they think they're great, and they're getting awards for a lot of it, but it's so shallow. It's either shallow or it's dark as heck. It's they're um the dark taking over, the dark in relationships, the brutality, the exploitation, the all, it's everywhere, all of that stuff. So, um, quality of art is Libra. Quality of relationship, it's quality. It's not just having a relationship, it's having a quality relationship that's lasting and that endures, that goes through the alchemy, and that knows what love is. Divine love is the only way for our time to change, to shift. If we don't learn what divine love is the light that's coming in. That it actually is it's divine love. That's what the light is. Um so what was I going to say? Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I understand. Yes, we do wanna be told the truth. We absolutely, somebody just mentioned disclosure. We absolutely want to, we always want the truth. However, just know that where you put your trust will is sometimes betrayed, meaning find it inside you. This is what I wanna say. That's a great comment. Everything on the outside is on the inside. I know that sounds so abstract, so, like, woo-woo, spiritual, new age, but it's the truth. The whole body of the cosmos is within us. We don't have to have somebody who's, not a very good person, or been shady before or sketchy before, or people who are up to no good and corruption. Why should these people be the people telling us what truth is? I mean, think about that. But yet we're sort of relying on that. It's all going to happen. This is the era of revelation. The curtains, the veil's lifting. However, when the veil lifts, we have to have divine love to really see what's going on. It might not be all. It might not be so smooth when the veil lifts as we think, um, because there's a period of um, spreading the light, meaning spreading that Libra balance that we're going to talk about. So I have to move into the I wanna look at the planets now, but just know love opens the heart. We have to master personal love, so that's this Libra full moon. It's being squared by Saturn and Mars, it's being opposed by Mercury retrograde. I mean, it's in that T square. We've also got Lilith in Capricorn. Lilith, but all Lilith is in Capricorn right now. I know that I use that as an archetype just to hear her message in Capricorn, in the sign of the institutions, the male leaders, the female leaders, but the real that masculine energy that's dominated, it's the lower masculine energy. And we have lower feminine energy too, but Capricorn represents we've got Pluto in Capricorn, we've got Saturn, we've got Lilith, we've got Mars, and Vesta getting ready to move in. She's at 29 degrees for the full moon. So um, we've got a lot of energy bringing these things in. Um, but we have to master personal relationships, meaning we can't move on and be a master and be if we're in avoidance of the personal. That's part of why we're here, because we're here to we nothing and the relationship can be with yourself, but for a moment we're talking about a relationship with another person, with a friend, with family. We it's the quickest way to alchemize. It's the quickest way to see where your shortcomings are, to where your strengths are, where you're able to sacrifice and give sometimes, where the give and take is, that dance, that figured eight, the polarity, um, between poles, between the one and the one, how we mirror with each other and how we grow. That is being really kind of the rugs being pulled out from underneath us in our culture. It's being everything Libra is the sign of marriage. It's Libra is marriage, and so marriage is being undermined. And there's esoteric marriage, there's 3D marriage, there's all levels of marriage. We won't go in too deep to that today, but Libra's marriage. Just look at what's breaking down in society. Yeah, I'm sure someone will think, yes, well, there's reasons for it. There are reasons for it, but um the truth is within you. Libra is the heart, it's the goddess Mat, and it's the scales, it's the balancing. Libra is Venus as well. Venus in Taurus, my sign is earthy and is the fire spirit behind nature, but in Libra and Venus or in Venus in Libra is the air, and air is Aleph. It's the heart. The Hebrew letter for air is Aleph, which is also the Fool correspondence, but it's the heart. It shows Libra teaches us how to breathe, how to have balance, how to have discernment before we choose. Libras are known for being kind of like don't want to make a decision, but it's giving us pause to look at what we need to see before we jump into something. It's beauty. Art and beauty are so big. What is quality in art? There's all this stuff being, pushed right now in the name of this or that. Art awakens the soul. It's meant to. The art is on a spectrum. It either takes us down or brings us up. And so it's going to operate different for everybody, but is the art you're viewing in all the various forms, is it making you expand and see the unity in everything, or is it grinding you into more carnal desires, more distress, more of this subliminal sort of dark energy. In art, beautiful art, there's a play, an interplay between shadow and light. And that is what's pleasing to us, to understand how the shadow and light work together, how the polarity can succeed in rising us up. So let's look at um let's look at what's going on. We have to claim our inner justice. The goddess is ruling this, because what's going to happen is this is just coming through my vision, but this light that's coming in is distressing to a lot of people, and it's going to appear in some ways like certain things that are not able to make space for it are just falling down and really having a hard time, including all of us that are on the path of deepening, because it's asking us to see those last things we need, because we're making ourselves vessels for it. And so you can feel it. And if you meditate, you'll absolutely know it. If you spend time meditating and going in, you're going to be good to go. You're going to know what's happening. So try to create a meditation practice that's right for you. My favorite way to meditate is to listen to I have some really special music that just opens my heart, and sometimes I just go quiet for a few minutes and I can tap right in, and there's a cosmic love waiting for you in your heart that will tell you what's going on. Claim it. Libra is the sword of truth. So attacks on relationship are attacks on depth. They're trying to get us to not go deep. Um, and it's better for us to be polarized and divided. Okay, so let's look at it. Moon in Libra at 10 degrees, a little over 10, but just borderline 11. 11's justice. Sun in Aries at 10. So we've got the warrior lit up with the sun in Aries, and we've got the goddess balance, the balance goddess, cosmic justice in Libra with the moon, with the feminine body. We've got Mercury retrograde at 12 degrees, and it's conjunct the sun. So it's Mercury's retrograding in a war sign in Libra, which is also the warrior sign. Um, and all this energy in Capricorn squaring both. So we've got Saturn in Capricorn, conjunct Mars in Capricorn, which I've been feeling right now for the past couple of days, squaring the sun right now, but leading into it's going to be at the full moon as well. We've got Saturn, we've got Mars. Mars is the tower in Capricorn, which is the devil archetype. We've got Lilith in Capricorn, the dark moon. We've got Vesta. This is what I want to really hit before I close out. Vesta, the priestess energy, trining Venus, the ruler of the new moon, the full moon. Trining Venus at 0 degrees Taurus. Oh, an earth sign. I love it. Venus is entering Taurus and she's trining Vesta, who's at 29 degrees Sagittarius. Vesta is also squaring Chiron at 29 degrees Pisces. Exact square. 29 is an auspicious degree in astrology, and it represents endings and a powerful alchemical point. 29. There, Vesta, 29 degrees Sagittarius, fire sign, squaring Chiron exact. Chiron's at 29 degrees Pisces, getting ready to leave Pisces where it's been for years and move into Chiron's moving into Aries. It's Chiron's moving into Aries. It's gonna be wild. So Chiron we know is the wounded healer and it teaches us lessons. So Chiron's gonna be soon moving into Aries. All right. So we've got Vesta trine Venus and square Chiron. Uranus is getting ready to enter Taurus soon this year. More change for the earth. Big years of change ahead with Uranus and Taurus. Taurus is our planet. It's Gaia. Taurus is the earth. And so with Uranus there, so much transformation is possible. It's going to be beautiful. So yeah, Vesta and Uranus. And Vesta's also trining Uranus. Yes. Uranus is at 27 degrees conjunct Venus. Venus is at 0 degrees Taurus. Uranus is at 27 degrees Aries. So they're conjunct. Venus and Uranus are together there. That's a lot of action for Venus, who rules Taurus, who's in Uranus is going to be going into Taurus for many years. And we've got fire signs. We've got fire of Sagittarius with Vesta there, and then we've got fire of Aries. So we've got some fire, a lot of Aries energy really powered up. The Aries energy is powering the Libra energy. Libra doesn't have a whole lot going on there. So Libra's needing our attention. She's kind of being, bombarded with energy with just the moon in Libra, but everything we've talked about is meant to assist the inner awakening. It's so dark. I I apologize, I should get a little closer here. So yeah, the message for Libra is if you're in polarity, you're gonna get zapped. You're gonna get attacked. You're gonna get and by the way, for the energetic, I mean, we're being attacked, but for those people who feel they're really being attacked with with the certain kinds of waves that are out there, very real. We need to what we need to do is you need to claim your sovereignty. You have to say, I'm not participating in this. You absolutely, on a spiritual level, can say, I'm not participating in the war. I'm participating from my God self, from my avatar self, and from my heart. The second you step in to who you really are, you cannot you will remove yourself. I've experienced it right smack in the middle of tremendous blocks, and I've had many over the years. I mean, many, many, many. Um, Not afraid anymore. Don't be afraid. When you're really not afraid, and when you really love yourself, and when you really love other people, and when you really love your life, and when you really honor what's good and truthful, when you tell the truth, when you're honest with people who you love, when you live as good of a life as you can, when you and when you claim it, you will shift any feeling of being blocked and will be a light unto others, and you will inspire others. And that's what I want to say to close out. I was shown to really say, be a rippling effect. You ripple with love, divine love, with the divine love of Libra. Ripple with it, meaning hold it, know it, refuse anything else. Smile at people, listen to people. In fact, I was given one of the things to show. This is the logos power. It's the power of the logos of spirit. This is the esoteric work. It's not the exoteric, it's the esoteric, that each one of us are the logos. We are pure spirit and nothing else. Own who you are and do what you've come to do. It's, it's I didn't see any all caps, so I'm just gonna hope I'll read the comments afterwards, by the way, and it's unfortunately, it's too late to comment, but maybe I'll put some comments back on the, I encourage you to tell me, how you're experiencing this polarity and how you've experiences of getting out. Come back if you want, write it in the comments. Love, love, love meeting. There's nothing better than meeting where people are from. So this is what I was shown. Really, really universal love is mastered through personal love. Polish up your personal relationships, give them full attention, love them, learn what, and if it's a bad one, learn what you need to learn and be done with it. Um, but that's what awakening is, depth. And our where depth is born out of adversity. That's how we humans learn. That's how we all have teams of love around us trying to wake us up, saying, just you can do it, you can do it. Wake up. See, take the path that serves yourself and that serves others. Take the right path. Before we take the right path, we have to explore every single other path, but eventually it gets harder for us to go down the wrong path because the pain is unbearable. If you try to make a wrong move, the more light you have, you just it's you don't want to risk it anymore, because you know the higher you develop and go, you realize certain things just don't have the same meaning anymore. And so that's what I wanted to say. To end on this video, two things to say that this is what I was shown to ask you to do. Ooh, where I wrote it down. I remember what it was. Listen to somebody you don't like. Listen to someone that you totally disagree with, someone who you think is your political opposite, someone who you think is a complete dark, someone who really bothers you, someone who you're competing with, or someone who you wish wasn't around, or take somebody that triggers you or that you feel is absolutely not right. This is what I was shown is a really powerful way to spread love. Listen to that person without judgment. Really listen to them. They won't see you. I'm talking even if you're watching someone on a video, if you see a comment on social media, really listen from balance, no judgment. You might get triggered, but try to get past that. Practice a little bit. If you listen to somebody, this is powerful stuff. This isn't part of light body yoga, but when you listen, it's huge in opening our crown. When you listen to somebody, you neutralize the dark. The dark doesn't want to be heard because it doesn't want to even be seen. It's playing games. If you've ever been in an argument and all of a sudden you stop fighting and you listen, it's like the argument's over. I mean, the next thing you know, you're like, loving each other. So listen to somebody that you didn't think you could listen to, and then just let it go. But that person will know that they were heard. People in the world don't really feel heard, even though we have more communication platforms than we've ever had. everyone is aching to be heard by their mother and their father, by their divine mother and their father, and by their own heart. So that's one of the ways to neutralize the dark. And I had one other way, but I don't know where that is at the moment. There were a few pages today. So yes, and love your relationships. Love them. And so that's all for today. That's all for tonight. Thank you for joining me live and have a real it's I believe it's Easter weekend, I think. So have a really potent, powerful Libra full moon this weekend. And I look forward to seeing you a lot more this year. Until then, many, many blessings.